Welcome to the second series, episode 3. Yes. Frankie and Michelle.
Welcome, guys. Welcome back. The show brought to you by two grown-ass women who proudly have an ATM card. Should we mention that now?
Yeah,
it's probably been enough. We'll just do it super quick. So in episode 1 of this series, we discussed the event we went to and all that, crap, but we don't want to go back into it. But basically on the night, the lady that we saw proudly announced to the room of people that she doesn't even have an ATM card.
Yeah, I just don't know how you would do life without one. How do you get out?
I don't understand what she was trying to.
How do you pay for your groceries, and how do you get out of the car park, and how do you buy your stuff online?
I don't know what she was trying. She was trying to make herself more important than what everyone else in the room was, because everyone else in the room has a fucking ATM card.
Well, I don't care how important you are. Everyone has an ATM card. I reckon even what's his name? Donald Trump has a fucking ATM card.
So that's become sort of an inside joke between the two of us, that we are successful women who proudly have an ATM card, and simple as that.
I mean, sometimes mine's empty, but anyway, that's a whole other story. All right. So obviously you've heard by now that Michelle's written a book. So she is a woman of everything.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, you are. But before we get into that.
Okay.
Let's talk about our Instagram if you want to follow us.
Yeah, guys, look, listen,
we
do have events throughout the year, and we're going to have a lot more happening. And if you don't jump on and subscribe to our newsletter or follow us on social media, you're going to miss out, and we don't want you to do that. So follow us on Insta. And listen, the other thing we haven't mentioned, which we always need, is reviews on Apple. Spotify, you can't leave that's fine, don't worry about it. But if you're an Apple listener, when you post a review, we share it onto our stories.
And actually, can I just mention something? I forgot.
What?
Someone left us a 1-star review, right?
Oh, this pisses Frankie off so much, guys.
No, it pisses me off. Not because you've left a 1-star review. It's because you didn't tell us why, so we can fix it. So I'm either guessing that you're a hater.
Yes.
As in you already hated me before or Michelle, whichever one.
It wasn't me.
Or you've got no reason to hate us. You're just hating on us because you wish that you did a podcast. I don't know, whatever it is. If you want to leave us a 3, 1, 2.
That's all fine. Any stuff.
That's fine. But please leave us a review so we know why you didn't like it. And
because guys, it doesn't go away. So Frankie now has to live with that 1 star, and it drives her absolutely
drives
bonkers.
Me fucking nuts. So just if you're gonna leave me a 1-star, at least say I fucking hate you because you did this to me 35 years ago. Because I do have a lot of people saying that. I actually don't care. I just want a reason behind it.
Yeah, that's absolutely
okay.
fair.
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So Girls Got Game. So you've written a book.
I did write a book.
Yeah. And over the holidays when I was eat, drink, sleep, repeat, I read your book.
You did? Thank you.
I
did. You sent me a cute photo of you by the beach.
I was reading it all the time. And
while I was in the office, that was great.
I found, it was quite inspirational.
Thank you.
B, how similar you and I are.
I know,
in
isn't
so
that
many
amazing?
Aspects. It was just
you
really
kept texting me going, oh my God.
Yeah, it was really freaky. But it was a really well-written book, as in, how can I say it? It was very just you. I don't know. For me, I was reading it like you were talking to me, having a conversation.
Like I speak.
Yeah. So it was really good. There was a few things in the book that really got me thinking. So I loved how Glamour Hippie came about as you went to this retreat with your high heels and stuff. So I'm reading it and I could so picture you all glammed up while all these hippies were in their little tights and thingies and their
and I've got hot red lipstick on and my diamond earrings on at breakfast.
Yeah. But I also found what I found really inspirational about it is that you're just a go-getter.
Thank you.
You really are.
That's amazing.
You just go and get it.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from. It's just an internal drive, I think.
Have you always had it?
As a child, my mum tells me that I was sort of really quiet. Yes, instinctively I am that person all the time, but I sort of grew up in a house where that wasn't nurtured. So I had an older brother who didn't particularly like the idea that his sister, was who she was.
Yeah.
And I sort of grew up being told to be quiet and don't do that and don't share that and don't say that. I don't ideally like to talk about that very much. I've had a couple of years of therapy about that.
That's
so
fine.
basically, yes, I have been, but I was never encouraged to be that way. And as I've gotten older, I've given myself permission because I was never given permission as a child. And then going into my early 20s, I didn't really know who I was. I would all of a sudden became a wife as well and a mum. And it wasn't until, say, I was about 35 where I'm like really accepted it. And then once I really accepted that, I mean, I've always been a go-getter, worker and hard work and stuff. But once I've accepted who I really am, that's when, it was full throttle. And my career has just skyrocketed since that moment.
Tell me what made you write this book?
So I found my online community wanted to know more about me because I was just sharing enough. As mum of young kids, and I still had a job and was only doing what I could. And it was just I wrote about 30,000 words, and which I couldn't share as a blog post because it was like everyone kept saying, tell your story. So I started writing my story, and then I came across a girlfriend who is a published author, and she said, look, this is a book. I'm like, nah. And she goes, I said, I'm not a writer. And she just said to me, do you want to just go back and look at your website? You have been writing every week for 5 years.
Yeah.
Really hate to say it, you are a writer. And she took me to an event where I had to sit on stage and talk. And I was there with a lovely author who'd written 15 books published throughout the world, and a journalist from the Canberra Times, Karen Hardy. And I'm here, here's me in the middle, overdressed as always, boobed out. And we were all sharing our writing. I had to sit there and think, oh, fuck, I am a writer. I'm sitting here on a panel. I do write. And then I started talking to the audience about how I've got this book in the works and I write blog posts. And at the end of the night, you could line up and talk to each person that sort of you resonated with.
Yeah.
My line was the longest.
Really?
Because people want to write. People wanted to write, want to know. And I hate to use the word, I'm a normal, ordinary person. I didn't study this at university. I didn't, I don't have a career in journalism. I'm just a normal human who's managed
just write
to
about you.
And the fact that I was writing this book, and then just went from there.
So what would you say to like anyone wanting to do something like that? Doesn't have to be a book, even a blog, because you had lots of insight in your book. So if you're wanting to be a blogger, Michelle's got in her book so many insights, and you talk about all the negative stuff as well.
I do.
Not just the positive, which I find really good.
There's a downside to putting yourself online.
Yeah, which is
especially when you're writing your story, you're telling your version, because it's a little bit more deeper than just a superficial
there
photo.
is.
So I'm going to give you perfect example. I have a girlfriend from school. We went through to school together. Gorgeous soul. I know she won't mind me sharing this. She got diagnosed with a brain tumor several years ago. She's got 2 beautiful little boys. I had coffee with her the other week, and I smiled through her, looking at me in the eye, telling me that she won't make 50.
Wow.
So I said to her, okay, so for me, I can't fix her.
Yeah.
I can't, I'm not going to pop around and make a casserole, but what can we do? I said to her, you need to tell your story. And she sort of looked at me and I was like, not for anyone else but your boys.
Yeah.
You need to write for your boys. And I said, I wrote my book, not for fame, not for my publisher, really not for my audience. I wrote my book for my kids.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to me, they now have something on their bedside table in my voice about how much I love their dad, why I started my career, and my beliefs in, what's going on around them.
You mentioned that in your book that you write letters to your kids.
So this is her really heartfelt. So every couple of years I sit down and I have to be home alone and I have to have a box of tissues next to me, and I write letters to my kids in case something happens to me. Because I know that when you lose a loved one, like when I lost my grandmother when I was younger, I needed her to help take away that pain. The person that passes is usually the person that can help you get through the pain.
Yeah.
And if I had a letter from her telling me how to navigate pain, then it would have made it easier. So it is horrendous. If you're going to do it, don't drive that day. Don't have alcohol around, because you have to put yourself in the place that you have passed and your kids are going through the worst.
Yeah.
And I write letters to my kids, yes.
Yeah.
What I expect of them.
So that book was an extension
of that. Those letters are private and they're in a little spot, which my husband, I keep saying, do you know where they are? And he's like, yeah. And he goes, hang on, where are they? And I keep the old ones.
Yeah,
so they've got a packet of letters from me, at different stages in their life. I know a lot of people do that too. if they know they are, they're unwell,
I've
have
got
cancer,
a-
they write letters to their children, but they write birthday cards and things
I've
like
got
that.
a girlfriend. Actually, her son just told me the story in the car yesterday when I was driving him home. He goes, every year we get a little photo book of what's happened throughout the year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I love looking through the photos.
Yeah.
My reaction was, how the hell does your mum find time to do that?
Yes.
Is she really that organised? Which she is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's really nice.
I just said to her, listen, and the book doesn't ever have to be published. And I said to her, if you just write the date, open your laptop, write the date that day, and you write how you're feeling. If it's 500 words or, you end up writing 2,000 words, or if you're going to cook something for dinner that you make that no one else makes, you put the recipe in that, and all of a sudden you've got a collection of thoughts, recipes, and things like that. And I said, and it gets to the point, you can just self-publish that and give that to the boys. And the boys have something of you that's, not just a photo.
You've kind of
or
left
it's
something behind.
Yeah. I think that my inspiration for everything I do, including this podcast, is always the driving force is my children.
Yeah.
Because I know so the biggest person in my life was my grandmother. When she passed, I still today would do anything to hear her voice.
Yeah.
So we have a privilege. We're here and now. You have to choose the way you live.
So tell me, just to change the
sadness,
the tone of it.
Yeah.
How did you come up with Girl Got Game? Like,
so it had a different title.
Oh.
Totally, till the very last second.
Okay.
It was called Make It Simple But Significant.
Oh, that's shit.
Isn't it? I actually own the URL. So it's actually a title out of in Mad Men. I used to love the show Mad Men because being in advertising.
Well, I'm glad you went with Girl Got Game.
And I actually hired somebody to help me write it, not in the sense she wasn't writing it, but I would hand her chapters. Bless her heart, I'd write 5,000 words. She'd cross out 2,000 and say that was shit. Write that again.
Yeah.
I needed a school teacher. I just needed to be kept accountable because when something's hard, I will go do the fun thing every time.
Yeah.
We were sitting together and I said, I'm not sure about the title, and we're about to send it to the publisher, and she's like, I don't know. Like, I said, I've got this weird sort of thing in my head going around like Girl Got Game, and she's like, yes, that's it. And then because that's how I write, like I've got game, everyone else can have game, and I have this terrible thing where I say game recognizes game.
Yeah.
Like you and I recognize game in each other, and it's from Lego Batman.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So when I sign books, I actually write game recognizes game, but it's from Lego Batman. But it was just felt more me.
And so I guess that stems on to our next kind of thing that we're going to talk about is like you can never really do it all. But
people
you seem like
shut up. No, I don't.
Excuse me. Let me finish fucking speaking. You say that you really do have it all. Like you say that you can't do it all. But from me, you've got your own business with your husband.
Yes.
Then in that business, you've got your own business.
Yes.
Then you've got the podcast with me that I really don't do shit. And then you've got your kids who train each like up to 48 hours a week. And then, you've got your friends on the side. Yes. Like it sounds like to me that you really do it all because it's exhausting.
The key to my life with doing it all is that I work with my husband.
Yeah.
And the reality is if I can't pick up the kids, he can. So we divide and conquer. We always say that. We've got 2 hands, 2 kids.
What about if you're one of those people out there that are a single parent?
It's hard.
And
my
don't
privilege
have that
is
support.
We always joke 2 hands, 2 kids. Like we've got 2 adults, 2 kids. There's always the 2 of us dividing and conquering all the time. And that's how I have been successful is because I've always had that partner in crime that's been able to
help
me out.
Yeah.
And because I really don't think you can have it all. So one thing I really want people to know is when something is going really well in my life, like my career and my running, whatever, I haven't hit the gym. So like there's things that do die off. There's things that basically I always see it as a massive stove with all the pots full. Some are boiling, some are just simmering, some are cold. You have everything there. It's just what you choose at the time to turn up the heat on.
Yeah.
And I always make sure all the pots are there. I never take anything away from myself, but I give myself permission to turn the heat off or just simmer it away.
And I think that's what both you and I took out of last year too, wasn't it? Because last year I was literally working like 7 days a week.
I don't know how you pulled through last year.
Yeah, non-stop. I burnt myself out.
You did.
And so this year I've come back saying, you know what? No.
You've put some – so this is the other thing I wanted to find out from you. You've actually started saying no.
Yep.
So what boundaries did you put in place?
Well, the first boundaries was no, I'm not going to just fit everyone into my life. So this, I'm talking about clients here. So before I'd be like, yep, an inquiry's come in. Yeah, I'm going to this weekend. And then before I know it, all my weekends have filled up.
Yeah.
And I don't have any time for my kids, for my husband, who I love and adore so much. And he works 6 days a week.
Well, that's it too.
And it's hard. So I want to find time for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, in amongst that 7 days a week, I was getting drunk because it was a silly season. So it was like, you know, so I was going to work pretty hungover most days as well. Which
I think we all did that.
So anyway, burnt out to normal
that was
life
2022.
stuff. So this year I have stopped doing that. Yep. I am just working Friday afternoons and a Saturday, except for this weekend.
For styling,
for styling. This weekend, and I take every Sunday off.
That's amazing.
And I've even I'm taking 1 weekend off a month.
That's excellent.
So I'm not booking any clients in. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I am booked for that time, and you'll have to wait till
So I have a question
month.
for you, because the reason too, I think that I get a lot done is I don't have a big family. So I don't have a lot of events and birthday parties. You know what I mean? I think Adam and I and the kids are a very small unit. And in that regard, I'm
not talking about parties. Sam and I just tend to do it on our own.
You've got a big but you've got a big family.
Yeah,
and with a big family comes people's birthdays and and there's always, if someone calls you, got to call back and whatever. I think that, how do you handle that? Like having a large family who required your time.
Look, to be honest, even if we do have a large family, everyone kind of keeps themselves. We do get together for birthdays and stuff, but we're not really in each other's pockets in between. I've got friends. Unless something big happens, then everyone wants to know everyone. Everyone's calling everyone.
Because I've got friends from big Greek families, and their social calendar is set.
Oh yeah,
they can't say no.
Yeah,
so they're trying to work. They have a large family obligation, and quite often that can be very difficult to say no to that, and then it can stump your own desire. We're talking about finding a passion and living what or creating that side hustle. Sometimes that family obligation takes that from you too. That's a hard thing to navigate.
I think it just stems back to, you know what, you get to that point in your life, like you just say no. Bad luck. I just don't say no majority because I get really bad FOMO. I'm just like, you know what, really, I actually don't care. Yeah. Like I just need time for me and what I need to
do. Actually, I've got a really great expression. My family lives under my roof and everyone else is a relative.
Yeah.
So I won't say no to my family, which is my husband and my kids, and everyone else is just a relative. So it's okay to say no to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just have to be okay with just saying no.
Yeah.
And the more times that you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah. So I actually fired my first client too this year. I didn't tell you that.
No.
Unless it was becoming quite difficult to correspond, and I found that there was just there wasn't a level of
mutual respect.
Yeah, and for what I was trying to do, and it was sort of, I don't have to keep proving this to you. You're either in or you're out. And I just said, that's it. I'm done. Thank you very much. This is what happened. They obviously came back going, I'm very sorry, and we want to, but it's like I had to change their perception of how that's my time.
Yeah.
If it means you don't have a client, I would rather not have a client than have to burn out my energy and beg for.
And did you feel guilty about that?
Not for a single second.
So I'll give you an example. Last year, just one of my clients, I've never had a client that I've never been able to fix.
Yes.
Well, not fix, but I've never had a client leave dissatisfied or leave in between. In the middle of session say, this isn't for me.
Yes.
And last year I got one of those clients.
It was the first time.
First time ever in 10 years,
tell us what happened.
So what happened? So her daughter bought her a styling voucher for her 60th birthday. We went. I was under the impression that she wanted an outfit for her 60th birthday. Yep. So we went. I was putting her in all these things that she wouldn't normally wear because that's my job.
Yes, exactly.
Don't book me if you want me to dress you how you are because it's just not going to work. And I think she just got so overwhelmed by the whole process that she was like, well, I was after work clothes. And I was like, well, your daughter didn't tell me that.
No.
She told me it was your 60th birthday. It would have looked a whole the whole session would have looked differently.
Very different.
If that was it. She's like, oh, look, I'm tired. And I said to her, you know what? You're not tired.
Yeah.
So how about you be honest with me, because I know that I'm good at my job.
Yeah.
I need you to be honest with me so I can fix it. You know, and
what'd she say?
Oh, she was just like, I don't think this is for me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And normally, I would have, if that would have happened to me, like even maybe 2-3 years ago,
you would have felt like
I would have gone, that's it. I'm gonna, I'm out. I'm never doing personal styling again.
Chucking the towel.
But I left. I went, you know what? See you later.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
your problem is not mine.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly
and
right.
I think you get to that point.
Yeah, you're quite comfortable.
You know, and this is what I want new personal stylists to understand, because you do get difficult clients.
I can imagine.
All the time. And you really have to eliminate that. Okay, sometimes it could be that you're not in the right job, but, you know, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's about the other person.
Yeah.
You can't help everybody.
No, you can't.
And so I left that personal style. Happy as Larry. I was like, sick. I get to get home at 5 o'clock. I get to make a really nice dinner for my kids.
I'm very
and
comfortable.
I never thought about it again.
Yeah.
So I think you have to learn to just be comfortable with some people aren't your people. And I think we touched about that on our last series,
Absolutely.
you know, when I said to you, you kind of, the people that are meant to come your way
do come in your way.
Way.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. And so how do you say no without the guilt?
I think that I used to say I had a huge complex growing up and in my early 20s, probably early 30s, that I need everyone to like me. I think that's where the overworking comes from. That's where you're trying to achieve the best. I do it now because I want to, but it was because I always wanted to people please. Like, I'm like, you have to like me. And so I had to come to terms with the fact that.
How did you come to terms with that?
I think getting older did help a lot. I did go to therapy for a little while.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of women are people pleasers. That's how we're raised, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to make sure everyone in our life around us is happy. And I had kids young, so I hadn't had time on my own to work that out. And so then I became a mum. Then I obviously take care of my children. I take care of my husband. And it just took just time and some therapy to say, oh, actually, hang on, I really don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of me. And it's okay to say no when I have ownership of my time, and knowing that, you know, my family's under my roof and I'm in control, that made it easier. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And I think putting myself online and putting what I put out there, I had to grow a really thick skin. Like, I had to be okay with people not liking who I am and not, you know, and that's what I try and teach my clients as well.
Oh, yeah. I had, when I first started becoming a personal stylist, I had this ex-friend that I hadn't seen since we were in fucking high school.
Yeah.
But anyway, she took it upon herself to write this long-ass post about how I'm not a stylist and that people are laughing at me and blah, blah, blah.
Are you kidding?
And she wrote it on her personal Facebook page, but we have like something like, I don't know, I think back then it was like 70 people that we had
mutual
in common.
Friends.
So they were messaging me back going, oh, is this about you? And I was like, what? Why
You're
the
kidding.
fuck would she be writing this about me? Like, what does she care what I'm doing with my life?
That's crazy.
Like, even if I was shit at being a personal stylist, like, what's it to you? Anyway, so she had blocked me, so I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't read it.
Well, I couldn't read it, and then
it.
I couldn't message her because I was going to message her to say, like, what the fuck. Anyway, one day she just appeared, so I messaged her and I said, yeah, about that post.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah, you know, you always have shit to say about me, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, mate, I've had 3 kids and a husband.
Yeah.
Like, I give a shit about what you say. It's Canberra. Maybe someone asked me something about you and I probably responded or I repeated it but I didn't make up that shit about you. It was what someone had said about you. And that really that thickened my skin up because I was like, that didn't tear me down.
No, good.
That actually made me go, fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm going to show you how good I am at my job.
It does,
Do you know what I mean? And from there, I went up and up and up. So
exactly.
eat shit.
Yeah,
I hope you're still looking at my posts.
No, exactly.
But, yeah, it's kind of that you do have to grow that kind of thick skin.
Yeah, you do.
There is always someone out there that's going to be hating.
Well, I noticed too that I have asked a couple of friends too that, have you bought my book yet? And they're like, no. And I'll say, have you listened to the podcast? The friends, and like, not yet. I'm like, well, hang on. Like, just because I've gotten a little bit bigger or, you know, I've achieved something, they're very happy for me to be there, what they want in the friendship. And then as soon as, because I've grown or done, like, how the fuck have you not, I would have bought your book in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And it's funny how they're like, no, I haven't done that. I'm like, isn't it interesting?
I think too that a lot of people have asked me, oh, what, is Michelle now your best friend?
Oh, yes, I've had that too.
And people are shocked. I'm like, actually,
no, we're not.
We don't even
We do not hang out. I think we had one dinner and that's it.
That was only to introduce the husbands
to justify
because we were talking about them. But, you know, Michelle is busy. I am busy. We have totally different lives.
We live on separate sides of town. We're different everything.
So, you know, like I think it got people a bit out of whack because they were like, oh, what? Now you've just automatically forgotten about me? And I'm like,
well, people said to me, oh, I want to have coffee with you, but you're clearly too busy now. It's like, no, I'm not. I'll have coffee with you.
Yeah.
I just sort of go like, oh, she's changed. It's like, because I released a book. No, I've been writing the book the whole time we've been friends. And I said, you need to fucking buy it because you might be in it. There's a few examples of things
that you can see
as you've read it
at the bookshop.
Oh shit, was I in that chapter?
Where's my name?
No, I find that funny that it's like, and I'm like, no. To be honest, that breaks my heart a little. Like they're like, oh no, like they don't. And I'm like, well, maybe we weren't the friends that I thought we were. Maybe I was more invested in it than you were.
Yeah.
Because I would have bought your book in a heartbeat or listened to your podcasts or done different things like that. But then I've got wonderful new friends from it. So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that some really good things have come out of this. And I'm super excited to kind of get it.
Yeah, we're going to be big. It's going to be bigger and better this year. I'm so excited because, guys, we did one series last year. We're going to do 3 series this year because we've just have enough that we want to talk about and enough that we want to share. And we don't. I mean, we'd love to do it every day, but as you know, that's just not.
But I think let's talk about the next 2 episodes.
Okay, so the next episode we're talking about friends with benefits.
Yeah,
which is we're not shagging, guys.
No. That would be really awkward that we're announcing that on air.
Yeah, and for the stalkers, those male stalkers that are stalking we're not shagging.
No, but the other 2.
Yes, we have 2.
We don't know what we're going to talk about.
No, so we might be recording them before people listen to this episode.
Yeah.
So we're not sure what we're going to be talking about, but that's what the joy of this podcast is. We always just base this podcast on our lives
and how we're kind of going.
How we're going and what you guys tell us. So when we go into each series, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
We want to know what you want us to talk about. And
so just, get on our Instagram, tell us what you want to drop us.
And order a copy of my book, guys. You can get it from Booktopia, but the link's across all my social media.
And you know what? If you get it before the Frankie and Michelle night out, you can come, she can sign it.
I can sign it.
And then I can sign it too.
Oh,
I mean, not that you'd want my signature.
Actually, that'd be funny. And I'll give you a West Coast cooler.
The West Coast cooler. Anyway, I think that's enough time for you.
You think
Mich?
I've had enough time?
Yeah,
Actually, I had enough airtime on that one. No worries, babe. Thankfully, there's always the next episode, which I just said, which is friends. We'll be talking about friends with benefits.
That's going to be interesting.
It's going to be good, that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Sounds good to me. Peace.